Welcome back. My name is Keeley Turner, director of Vanilla Lily, A Stroke of Destiny. And today we're gonna go over part 3. We're gonna look at each scene and watch it together like a little watch party. And I'm gonna go over some tips and tricks that I have up my sleeve as a director of the film and my process when thinking about props. We're gonna go over props, and I'm gonna talk about how we got certain locations and things like that. The things that I'm thinking about when on set, challenges we faced on set. And I'm gonna go over with you how we overcome those challenges with a tight schedule and a tight budget. So let's dive in.
Lily. Lily, wake up. It's all right.
Going back to set design, this room, we had to start with the insides of the chateau because it was raining so much. But you really can't tell because we added a light coming through the window, simulating sunlight spilling into the room. This room was really fun to shoot in due to the fact that there's so many amazing decor that just comes with the space. If you look to the left, there's this beautiful painting. We were so lucky, like I said in the last breakdown. A lot of things we had to cover in this space due to the fact that it did not exist in the time period that we're simulating. So the only solution that I could come up with on the spot was putting fabric across certain items so that way you could not see it, and then we in post would not have to pay loads of money to paint it out, so to speak, with visual effects. So this helped us save a lot of money in post.
Morning. The man dropped this last night.
It's a cipher. I'm not sure how to decode it.
Well,
This is an actual real cipher that we created for the film. So it does decode using the word secret. It's a bunch of gibberish in my cursive handwriting, but there's a lot of Z's, W's, S's, and all kinds of crazy characters on the page.
what we have to do is find the key word. In this case, our man wasn't too clever. I believe the key word to be secret. And now, we must decipher.
How is it you know how to do this?
This shot was actually filmed with a iPhone 16 Pro Max, utilizing the spatial capabilities of the cameras that come with the new iPhones. We really wanted to add that close-up of the cipher letter. It was really important for me to show you this coded letter. We had to make multiple versions of the same prop. If a letter was ripped, like this one, we could use a new one for a different take. That was really important to me when filming on the go. You don't want to have to take time writing a letter with ink, because then you have to let it dry, and that's just a lot of time sitting around watching paint dry, so to speak. So we did not want to have to do that during these shoots because we only had 3 days to create 2 new episodes of Vanilla Lily. So we had to be very cautious of how we spent our time.
Right. I've got it. The cipher reads, "Greetings. My name is Count Saint Germain. I have come to thee in darkness of night, not with the intent to bring harm, but to apprise thee of the perils thou hast unwittingly unleashed by revealing secrets of the future. With earnest regards, Count Saint Germain."
Who is Count Saint Germain? Pierre!
I've heard rumours of a count at court. Lily, I've never met the fellow.
This proves even more that I should not divulge information about the future. Nor should I even be here.
Lily, listen to me. Listen!
Stay here. Stay quiet.
The actors did this scene absolutely beautifully. Talking about actors, I choose my talent, my cast, who have a lot of experience in theater, basically, because in theater you have to play out the whole play from start to finish. Those types of actors are really intriguing to me because oftentimes we're running through a full scene all at once, and so it's really important to me as the director that, of course, the actors off book when they come to set. Second is that they understand the scene and the blocking from start to finish, so that way we can roll through the full scene with one angle, because we're simulating the fly of the wall experience in this immersive piece, this scene transpire as the viewer. So it's really important for the actors to deliver the full scene. The third thing I want to mention here is the name that they mentioned.
Count Saint Germain.
This character was a real live person, so I'm taking a historical person and adding him into this experience, which gives the piece more depth.
A message pour vous, monsieur.
Tis another message, delivered by a carrier.
Oh Lord, what could he say?
Dear Lily and Pierre, my fellow neighbor, I must apologize for my bad behavior last night. I did not mean to give you a fright. But now you have discovered my identity. Meet me at Château Chambord at dusk. There is much to discuss and time is of the essence. Count Saint Germain.
We should go, right?
Well, yeah.
Carriers rode around on horseback through the countryside and all of France, really. This is how letters were distributed throughout the country. I didn't show that. It wasn't really important to the scene to show that, but you hear the sound effects and the dialogue of the carrier saying,
A message pour vous, monsieur.
it would cost a lot to have, a horse, having that stunt take place of the carrier driving in. So it really wasn't important to the story to even show that. So we saved a ton of resources by not showing that.
It might give us some answers. Come on, allez!
The way we found this chateau was doing research on the area. So with the help of my producer, Servan, we came up with this chateau. We reached out to many different chateaus in the region. I ideally wanted to film at Château Chambord. As a small filmmaker, indie filmmaker, I don't think that they were really interested. Plus, it is a massive facility. I was in Angoulême for a film festival we go to every other year. As we were filming there, I took a break as Hugh was driving his drone, flying his drone around Angoulême. I sat on a park bench overlooking the city. I called several chateaus, and this one in particular, they were very open to the idea of filming there, and that was great. And of course, we did have a location fee. The location fee was well spent, I will tell you that. They were very hospitable, and I highly recommend checking out this chateau when you go to the Loire Valley. You can even stay there. Count Saint Germain looks directly into the lens, at the viewer. He is the only character that I chose to do this. When you look into the lens as a character, the audience feels like Count Saint Germain is witnessing them as the story transpires, which gives them a feeling of really being there and being seen.
Welcome, dear friends, welcome, chers amis. Pray, do come in. I am most pleased to finally make a proper introduction.
If you look directly behind Count Saint Germain, you see this mirror. Funny enough, you could actually see me and the camera crew in that mirror. So I hired our VFX guy, and he strategically painted that out and blended it in to where you couldn't see us, but you could see the head of Count Saint Germain. So that was really, really nice and very important. I mean, the scene would be kind of ruined if you could see us in the mirror.
My name is Count Saint Germain.
We are fully aware of who you are, Count.
It's a pleasure indeed, Pierre. Lily?
You might realize that Pierre doesn't have a sword. No way to fight or protect Lily. The reason being is that our stunt coordinator, Lorenzo, I only paid for him to be on set for a day, and he had the props, and as the stunt coordinator, he was the only one who had the key to the case of the swords, which is great because you need to have precautions when on set. Many things could go wrong with weapons on set, as you know. So I'm really glad that we actually didn't have access to the swords. We need to have those safety precautions, and having a stunt coordinator on set at all times with props like weapons is crucial.
I wouldn't stray if I were you. You do not want to get lost here. It's bigger than it looks. Well, 'tis not lost on me, ma chère, that you do not belong here in this time period. And I know this because I, too, do not belong.
It's also cryptic.
I love the lighting in this room. Our gaffer, Tristan, really brought in all of his techniques, bringing in that blue light, simulating moonlight, full moon. And actually, it was kind of like a full moon that night that we filmed. So it was very kind of spooky when we were walking around the outside of the chateau. As you can see, we did very minimal set design. Again, when you're traveling across the world, you can't bring a lot of pieces of set design. So we really played around with different props and things like that. If you look on the table, you see this triangle book, like he's actively writing on this triangle book. Count Saint Germain actually did write a book in the shape of a triangle. Since I live in LA, I thought, why not go to the Getty Museum, ask to look into their archives, and they have the original triangle book that Count Saint Germain wrote, handwritten. And so I got access to this triangle book and I took pictures of it. This page that you see open is actual real characters that are written in this book. This is how deep of research I did for Vanilla Lily. And I love the character of Count Saint Germain. I think he's so enigmatic and mysterious. I just wanted to do this scene justice by just adding a few props here and there that I could actually travel with.
I really don't like games, Count.
You're quite right, but you must understand the severity of divulging bits of the future to those of the past. That is why I needed to act with such force. But you're absolutely correct. Time is of the essence, as they say. So go ahead and ask your questions, and I shall answer them as best as I can, though I am no fortune teller.
So one thing I also want to mention about the lighting, we really wanted to add like a fog machine, and that was like one of the last things we added to the lighting kit. And I am so glad we did, because this scene would have kind of fallen flat if we didn't use fog in the lighting kit. And one of the reasons why we were hesitant to use fog was because of stitching issues and artifacts creating in the scene, but it looks beautiful and it really shines as Tristan's magic of lighting and light shaping really comes to life in this scene. He's such a cool guy. Having experience working on Emily in Paris and things like that, we were just so lucky to have someone as talented as him on set creating these lighting scapes for us.
Simple. The elixir of life. I myself perfected the concoction.
You heretic!
Pierre!
Yeah, do keep calm. I know it is shocking. I even shock myself on occasion.
Now, the real Count Saint Germain did say he perfected the elixir of life. And the real question is, was this Count Saint Germain just a charlatan putting on a show and taking people's money and things like that? Or was he really the real deal? As this story transpires, I just find the elixir of life so fascinating, the concept that someone could live forever by drinking an elixir.
Lily, you must explain to me how you arrived here.
1 minute I was looking at a Rococo painting, and the next I'm here with you at 1780.
How did you travel through the painting? Was it of a man and woman dancing in the field?
How do you know what the painting looked like?
I know because I painted it, ma chère.
For goodness sake.
Patty, Pierre walks off saying, for goodness sake. Little things like that was not written in the script, but I love that choice that he made, giving it more dimension, giving his character more dimension, even though his character doesn't have as much dialogue as he did in previous scenes.
Thought I had it placed somewhere safe, though apparently it wasn't that safe after all. It must have been spirited away from Madame de Pompadour's collection.
Madame de Pompadour was the mistress of King Louis XV at that time. And so she actually introduced the Count to court in real life. And so I wanted to play with their friendship of him mentioning Madame de Pompadour. He must have given this painting to Madame de Pompadour, and it somehow ended up years and years down the road in a random antique shop that Lily stumbled upon.
Oh. Yes. My apologies. That sometimes happens.
It was Joelle and Clement's idea to do this dance, and it's so beautiful with the dress and everything. I just love how it all transpires. The reason for the dance is that Count Saint Germain takes a swig of the elixir of life. Then he gets this jolt of energy of life, and it's like a drunken Jekyll and Hyde kind of feeling that comes across him, and he grabs Lily out of nowhere and dances around. It's crazy. It's charismatic. He's enigmatic in this moment, and I just love this choice that our actors made. This was not written in the script of the dance, but it plays beautifully in the scene and heightens the intensity, of course. Whether or not to trust the Count, is Lily still in danger?
Right, regarding the grave matter at hand. Now, Lily, you are not from here, and it is urgent that you return from whence you arrived, and it is my motivation to aid you in that endeavor. Does that sound amiable?
Before we move on, I do want to mention the VFX that we chose to do in this episode. I love this ripple. It's like a space-time continuum ripple that we did with the VFX, along with the sparks of light. It's very magical and beautiful in a way, and I absolutely love this song that plays in the background. It is a classical song, and like you saw in the last episode, to me it's really important to utilize songs of the time period. These were actual songs that existed around this time period, and adding those songs really give that vibrancy to the 18th century.
You must go back to the place where you first arrived. Was it a field?
Oui?
The portal resides there. Now, you must stand in the exact place where you landed and then focus deeply on the place you were before you entered the portal, and then ingest this.
Why would this work?
Well, I've perfected the chemical makeup of the vanilla in the macaroons to allow one to teleport into any time period they choose.
I chose to use French macaroons because why not? They're French. Well, at least they became French when Catherine de' Medici brought them to France from Italy when she married Henry II, I believe. I love learning about Catherine de' Medici. She was a force to be reckoned with. She was a very powerful woman of the time. She was ruling basically France because Henry II died on a jousting match. Interestingly enough, the first chateau that we filmed at was 10 minutes away from Château Chenoiseau. That chateau was owned by Henry II's mistress. He had given it to her, but as soon as he died from the jousting accident, Catherine de' Medici seized this chateau and claimed it as her own. In another episode, we will walk you through Château Chenoiseau.
We must go.
If I were to instill a morsel of advice upon you, madam, it would be to keep painting. You may discover something magical. If you're ever in doubt, go within. Go within, ma chère, and you will find all the answers you're looking for.
Au revoir, Count Saint Germain.
I love this little piece of dialogue from the Count. It's inspiration not only to Lily, but to the viewer. I wanted to write something inspirational. You know, you can portray painting to whatever it is that you're passionate about, and follow that passion and never give up.
I think it was right about here.
Are you sure? The Count said it had to be the exact location.
Oh, look! My paintbrushes. I had all my painting supplies with me before I fell into the portal.
I love this shot. It's so beautiful. If you look at the depth as Pierre is walking behind Lily as she's searching for clues as to where she actually came through the portal. This was actually on the property of the Airbnb that we had, and it was such a beautiful backdrop, you know, with the vineyard in the backdrop.
So this must be the spot.
And this is where we part, Madame Lily.
Pierre, you were my protector. I'm forever grateful to you. I will never forget my time in 1780 with you.
I love Pierre's character so much. With him, I wanted to bring a sense of romance. He kind of embodied the 18th century time period for me. That sense of romance that a lot of people long for in their life. So if you notice, when Lily picks up the macaroon, you hear this shimmering sound of chimes. I love that sound to kind of simulate this magical sense that something is happening as she picks up the macaroon. So I had a lot of fun adding a lot of sound effects in post. Joelle did such an amazing job simulating what it would feel like to be pulled into a portal, like a wormhole portal. She is led by her heart and it pulls her in. We don't have on set like any visuals or anything for her to visualize the portal, and so I love what she came up with right there.
Hey, is everything okay over there?
Oui, oui.
So the painting portal closes beautifully with the outline of the painting. I just love that choice that our VFX guy made. You know, it is a collaborative effort, and when people bring valuable ideas to the table, I'm always open to exploring that with them, because a lot of times creative ideas are valid, and so I want this to be a collaborative effort. So bringing in those ideas are really amazing and gives the overall project more depth. I love this song that I chose. It has the feeling of nostalgia for me. It sounds like Oasis, like the band Oasis, or the song like Bittersweet Symphony. I really wanted to create that vibe for this moment. And actually, if you listen to the lyrics, it really pairs well with what Lily is experiencing in this moment of being back home. It is bittersweet, but she is overjoyed to have learned more about herself. In this scene, we have Count Saint Germain in modern day attire. It's so wild, this scene, because we literally had to get Clement from the airport. We flew him in from Slovenia, and he flew in that day to be in the Paris shot. And I'm so glad he made it on time. Actually, his flight was delayed. Everything came together. And when you're on your right path, when you're working on something creative and fun, things just kind of fall into place in a nice way. It's serendipitous.
Keep painting, Lily. You may discover something magical. Count Saint Germain.
Again, we're utilizing the iPhone 16 Pro Max to film the spatial video here to give you a close-up of the letter that Lily is reading out loud. This message is for her, and I wrote it as a message to the viewer to always be inspired by whatever it is you're passionate about and to follow them it is important to do that. And it's like our sole purpose. Whatever your sole purpose is to follow that. And that's my love letter to the audience. In my life, that's been my North Star, to do what I love and never look back. And I don't regret it at all, ever. Because as I follow what I love, beautiful things transpire, like this film. So this was a real reaction from Joelle. I don't think she realized in the script that I left some macaroons in the box for a potential traverse of time again. Thank you for hanging out with me today in the studio. I took over Hugh's studio and I had so much fun talking with you about our tips and tricks on how to film on location abroad. And I had so much fun talking about all the different props we had for this film. And it was such a joy. And I can't wait to do this again soon. Bye.